What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are going to talk about some teams you guys can use to auto run Dark Dimension 2. Now these teams, they're going to vary in terms of accessibility, so we're going to go with a team that's very much newer and free to play friendly. We're going to have a team that's kind of got an asterisk because, well, you'll see when we talk about it, and one that's a little more pay friendly, one that you're going to have to really grind out. It's going to be a little more challenging, but we'll talk about all three teams today. But before I go any further, big thank you to Torrent Fiend, who who kind of tipped me off to these teams that could work, also record some footage and send it over to me. Big thank you to him for tipping me off to these teams, and that I can discuss about them in this video and just show you guys these teams so you guys have an idea of some things you can work on. Because of the three Dark Dimensions, I'd argue Dark Dimension 2 is the most important for players to clear because it gives you the much coveted Ultron shards, and without Ultron, you're kind of falling behind other players. And I gotta say, right now, I love my Ultron. I think I'm gonna have to do a love letter video to him just because of how awesome he is. I use him in Arena, I use him in Rights, I use him everywhere, and he is the best. Yeah, I'll talk about that in another video, but let's go ahead and break down the first of these three teams. I think it's going to be the most friendly for players out there. That is going to involve a legendary character, another character you may have heard me mention a couple times before in other videos. So this first team I'm going to talk about involves Sheree and Supreme. Now, Sheree is a legendary character, but the characters you need to unlock her are going to be Spider-Verse, though by proxy a lot of people go for Sinister Six because you use Sinister Six to unlock Invisible Woman as well, and this is a very early legendary for players out there. Sinister Six are pretty easy to farm for newer players, so it's pretty early on that you're going to get legendary unlock for Sheree. And honestly, with her and Scientist Supreme, you just kind of plug in three other characters and you can run this on auto. I mean, Torrent sent me footage of him using Quake, Rocket Raccoon, and Shield Security, which pretty much ran it auto the entire time. I've also used other characters with this. I've used Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot, and I've also had good luck with it. But the big takeaway from this is that there's a very minimal need for T4s on this. The only T4s that you really need to use for this are going to be on the field trials for Scientist Supreme, because that T4 allows her to flip 4 negative effects into positive effects. So that's a pretty big T4 for you to have anyways. Plus, you're going to be using her later on. And also, same thing with Sheree. I don't have any T4s on her. I was able to run it on auto, and it worked just fine. Literally, not even having a target aim, I just click auto, and I basically walk away. I go watch some TV. I go clean up the apartment, whatever. I come back about 20 minutes later, and the node's cleared, and then I just move on to the next node. Honestly, this is a surprisingly easy kind of clear, and without a lot of dependency on T4s, it's pretty easy and very accessible for newer players, free-to-play players. And the beautiful thing is that with Scientist Supreme and Sheree, you can plug pretty much anybody you want into this team, and it's still gonna work okay. And that's the thing, is that you have your arena farms, you have your raid store farm, your blitz store farms. You can farm with different characters that you're working on for teams. You can get them up to tier 13 gear, plug them into this team with Scientist and with Sheree, and it just goes on auto. It's surprisingly very easy, and I think that a lot of players, this is going to be one that's going to be a lot easier for them to get to, because the other two that I'm going to talk about here soon, not as easily accessible. They're going to be a little bit grindier, a lot more geared towards endgame stuff. So this team, honestly, since you're working on your Sinister Six anyways, you're going to be working on Sheree, and honestly, since you're going to be using Sheree and Scientist Supreme and Ultimate 7 anyways, you're going to get a lot of lasting power with using these characters to auto clear Dark Dimension. This is going to be one that, yeah, it's just going to give you a lot of time. And since this game is about time and resource management, having characters that you can put a lot of gear on and then throw into multiple game modes across the game, that's a big deal. And that's another big thing with Sheree and Scientist Supreme. Again, you're using them for Ultimate 7, here you go for Dark Dimension 2. You're likely going to use them for Dark Dimension 3 probably. So there is going to be some lasting effect there. And then Wakandans, you can use them on defense and Alliance War. You can use Wakandans for the Red Star Orb currency. And then Scientist Supreme with AIM, you can use them for war offense. You can also use them with Ultron, but you're going to be unlocking here anyways. That makes a pretty solid war offense team from what I've seen. So you're going to have a lot of lasting power by investing in these two characters. That's a very important thing. So in terms of most easily accessible and free-to-play friendly team out there, definitely Scientist, Supreme, and Sheree. Definitely the team that you're going to find the easiest to unlock, the easiest team to gear up, and the easiest team, or not really the easiest team, but a team you can definitely use to auto Dark Dimension 2. So next up on the list is Asgardians. Now this one's definitely not one that's very easily accessible for newer players. You're gonna have to whale out or get lucky with pulls from orbs and everything to get them. Hela is pretty much, you can't get her until you unlock level 70, though you can get the Totomak login character with Dark Dimension 3 to get Hela, so you can get a head start on her. But overall, Asgardians, they're one of the best defensive teams for Alliance War right now. You also use them to unlock Black Bolt, which I'd argue is probably the best legendary. I know I don't have Phoenix yet, so maybe Phoenix is better than Black Bolt, but I'd have to say that Black Bolt is pretty much one of the best legendary characters you can have in the game right now, and you can only get him by using your Asgardians. So in addition to using Asgardians to auto-run Dark Dimension 2, you do also get the ability to get Black Bolt. You get a solid war defense team, and honestly, you do have a solid arena team as well. There's a lot of Asgardian teams in arena, though. Now that people in my arena shard are unlocking Black Bolt and their Inhumans up, I see a lot of Black Bolt and Yo-Yos thrown in with Asgardians. Loki and Hela are both solid Asgardian characters that you're definitely going to want to invest in. Hela has the summons and has turn meter reduction, and honestly, she's probably the best Asgardian right now. Loki has a great opening with his mind control. Your Asgardians, they are a nasty bunch of characters. They are very tough, and honestly, if you do farm them, you're going to get some solid return from them. Again, because this game is about time and resource management, it's best to go for teams that are going to get you a lot of solid return in terms of that time and gear and money. So if you are investing in Asgardians to auto-run Dark Dimension 2, you are going to get solid returns for them in other places as well. In terms of just Dark Dimension 2, it's just another one you just throw on auto. It goes pretty well. There's nothing really crazy about it. That's just the beauty of Asgardians and how good they are. You throw them on auto in Dark Dimension 2, and there you go. You have a team that is just going to clear the nodes. It's gonna take a while, but you are gonna have an auto team. So there you go, another auto team for Dark Dimension 2. And then we come to the final auto team for Dark Dimension 2. This one feels a little bit like cheating, but I'm putting it on here because you can run on auto Ultron. If you take Ultron and you throw him in with like your Star-Lord, your Groot, your Rocket Raccoon, and then whoever else, if you want to go crazy and get Minerva and Thanos as well, this team is another auto run. Now, of course, you have to complete Dark Dimension 2 once in order to get Ultron, but once you get Ultron, you can auto run back through. Ultron is the best. I love Ultron. I've said that already. I'm gonna have to do a love letter video to him again. But Ultron, with his just so many bot summons, his ultimate can just shred enemy targets, and then every time he kills someone, it prolongs all positive effects on all tech allies. So Ultron, all of his bot summons, if you have Minerva, she's gonna get her effects prolonged. Scientist, Supreme, and Sheree, if you plug them in with Ultron as well, those will also get their positive effects prolonged. Rocket Raccoon also has the same thing, all tech allies. So if you want to throw in Ultron with a bunch of tech allies and just go ham, you're gonna have a team that is going to auto, and it's a thing of beauty. Honestly, Ultron, he just summons so many minions, and because the AI is not the best, they will spend a lot of time focusing on the Ultron minions, which saves some of your other characters. So you do have the ability, or you do have the benefit of all these Ultron minions just taking a lot of damage, and then they keep buffing up Ultron, they keep giving him bonus turn meter, they heal up your team as well. The Fabricator, I believe, whatever the green bot's name is called, it can heal up your team as well, give you stacks of regeneration. It's a very, very beneficial team. It's very beneficial to have all these Ultron minions out there. You throw them all together on here, and you just press the auto button, and you let Ultron do the work. He will carry this team pretty far because of the minion summons, the ultimate, the stacking of the beneficial effects. It's a very easy team. It's gonna take a little bit of time, and there are some teams that may be a bit of a problem. This is something for all these teams out there, like your Deadpool and Daredevil minion heavy teams. those nodes are going to be a bit of a challenge for some of these teams. But overall, these are Ultron with some minions, throw in some other characters. You're going to have another team that can auto Dark Dimension 2 for you. So like I just mentioned with Ultron, these teams that have a lot of heavy focus on Deadpool and Daredevil, like Mission 10 specifically, I believe there's another one with Brawlers, yeah, SpiderMan, Black Panther, Gamora, and Ms. Marvel. These two nodes, Mission 10 and Mission 13, those ones are going to be difficult to get around. You may have to take auto off for a little bit just to establish things, because these teams have some brutal openings. Ms. Marvel is assisting on everything with your brawlers, and all these characters are brawlers. Black Panther's a brawler, Gamora's a brawler, Spider-Man's a brawler. You have a lot of brawler allies with Ms. Marvel in Mission 13 that can really do a lot of burst damage out the gate. So you may need to take things off auto for that, as well as Mission 10. There's a lot of Deadpools, a lot of Daredevils. They have a lot of chaining opening attacks that can really do a lot of damage as well. Those two missions, probably ones that you may need to take off auto at the beginning to kind of establish a foothold, but once you have things set in your favor, go ahead and put it on auto, and then you'll be able to clear it. Honestly, these are just some teams you guys can use to auto Dark Dimension 2. If you guys have other teams that you use to auto it, let me know down below in the comment section. I'll check them out. Maybe I'll do another follow-up video on some other auto Dark Dimension 2 teams that we have out there. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.